happening? There we go. Looks like it's happening. Fantastic. Here we go. All right. Got a few of them in here. We're streaming. Yes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Houston with a Problem, episode 98. Live streaming to you from Switzerland, over my shoulder. It's a lovely day. About to turn to evening here. Morning for most of you watching, except I see a few Euros in here. I'm enjoying your timeline as we peruse through here. Scroll, you little fart bucket. There we go. Are you moving? All right. Sweet. You're going too fast. Don't do that. Come on. Sorry, everybody. Move. Did my mouse stop working? Oh, great. I can't control the chat. Crap. Why can't I control the chat? This happened once before, I believe, where the chat stopped working. And of course, everything is laptops, man. What is the deal with laptops? Okay, hey everybody. I gotta catch the chat as it's going because for some reason it will not let me. There we go. Maybe that worked. Nope. My mouse has vanished. I have no more mouse. Oh, there we go. I can use my finger. Okay. Alright. So, apparently my mouse just took a giant dump and will not work. Hey, this is Houston with a Problem. We have nothing but problems, so we're going to have to use the touchscreen to do things. Okay, so, L is asking, I need to know your thoughts about the upcoming FTC and DOJ press conference at noon. I don't know about that. Send a link or something to somebody, because I don't know what the heck's going on there. But I'll be curious to see what they're talking about. Whenever they do press conferences, they're always announcing that there's some small-time crook that they busted. It's never the juicy stuff. So, I would hope that it's something big and juicy, but I know in my heart it's going to be like some guy did a pump and dump for some penny stock, and he made $400,000, and they're going to throw him in prison for 50 years, and they're going to pat each other on the back for doing that. It's never the dudes who do like 10, 20 billion dollars, trillion dollars, whatever in crime. Those guys never get busted. And that's what we're hoping for. We want one of the big boys to go down and for that to be it. So there we go. And Jersey says, let's talk about January 21 options. Well, as far as I can tell, everything's getting hammered still. Be Big is a big green one today. It's up 28%. Everything else is absolutely just pummeled. Absolutely just gnarly knockdown, drag out, tossed into the gutter. We are just AMC's down to 18, GME's at 107. Everybody's like red. Even a lot of the blue chips are super red today. There isn't too much green. Disney's green. And that's it. Disney's the only green one on my blue chip list. Everyone else is sitting red. All the crypto's down as well. We're just red dead day. Ooh. M4 Super Chats. I'm confident of a rip at the end of January. Thus, I am thinking of doing 3 GME 250 call and 20 AMC 45 call, both for 225.22. It is an amount I am willing to risk and lose. What do you think? I don't think it's a terrible idea at all. This stuff, they're going to get done shorting. They're going to run out of the $1.5 billion in cash that Citadel managed to con out of their golf buddies. And it will rip eventually. That's just what happens. It goes down and then bounces back up. Why? Because we own the stock. We own it, and we're not selling. You look at Fidelity for today, it'll show like 95% of the transactions are us buying more shares at a discount. So, I don't think it's a terrible idea at all. I think you're going to do just fine. Not financial advice, not financial advisor. Meow meow. Gurkha seems to think the hedgies can slowly close out over time. Is this possible with how they continue shorting? I mean, if they were to bother actually closing, they could close out over time. But the fact they are not buying our shares because we're not selling them means they're not closing. So it might be a small hedge fund here and there that can do it, but the big boys don't stand a chance. Why? Because if they manage to push all those puts into the money and trigger a whole bunch of put calls, put options, then guess what? All those puts are naked. The shares don't exist for those, and so now they just push the liability onto the options guys, and the options guys have to go out and pick up a bunch of shares they don't have. So I don't see anyone doing any closing quickly, slowly, or any other way, because they can't close until they buy our shares, and none of us are selling. So that's where it is. They could close, but they're not. And then if we didn't sell at 350 and we didn't sell at 250 and we didn't sell at 150, why on earth would we sell at 107? Like we'll keep riding this wave up and down and all over again. But cows come home. All right. Yeah, market's dropping all over there, Dana. Window doily intact. I'm still in Europe. Still got Parsen behind me. We did some skiing up there today and ate another chef's hot dog. It's delicious. Got my Iceland Phallological Museum penis shirt on today. So, that's a schlonger. The stupid mouse. Why did the mouse just go away? I don't get it. I don't understand. There we go. Okay, that's working there. That's working. Just a small nightmare. Okay. Oh goodness, you guys are going faster than I can scroll with my finger here. Got folks from Canada. Homer's Ghost. Houston, have you tried one of the horns that's seen in the Ricola commercials? I've not seen one yet. I think it might be a summertime thing for some shepherds that climb up in the mountains. Now it's just there's no shepherding going on. Sin Yang says you can't see monkey butt. Are we going to see human butt? Not if I want to be able to maintain my YouTube channel, that's for sure. So, no human butt yet. That's for the OnlyFans. Resident Flea, Houston. Kind of back, had spine surgery. Oh man, finding a little tight because I had a little nerve damage, but I'm getting better. We'll get better, Resident Flea. I'm sorry that you had to have surgery on your back. Hopefully it was cured, fixed, whatever's taking you on there. I'm sorry. BBR Germany. Wax wallet site is down. Can't register for new wallet. Maybe the next day there's some Bitcoin problems going on. Come on, EMC Bull. I hope today's market has some bounce backs. I really do wonder like how much more they could short this stuff and bring the price down. I mean, the price is just cratering on everything. And none of us are selling. We're all sitting here chilling like villains. And, yeah. And Rob Towell. Gary Gensler knows exactly what's happening in dark pools, and there's not doing anything about it. And, stuff like this, they don't make it out. The market collapses in on itself eventually as a result of all these over-leveraged, all these margin guys. It just can't be a fake, phony market for as long as they hope it will. It's going to implode. It always does. And, we're just going to sit and wait for it to do that. And there we go. Nathan Scott, good morning. Happy to see you on. It's a crazy day. So hearing you talk stonks mellows me out. Hope the vacation is going well. The vacation has been just lovely. Absolutely my happy place. Eating chocolate chip waffles, chef's hot dogs, racks of ribs, fondue, raclette. Oh, so much good food. Chocolate cake, gummy bears. Nom, 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 nom. And skiing's been fantastic. The sun has been beautiful. It's just absolutely. I wish Monkey Butt could be here to enjoy it with me. I do. She's missing out, man. And she's wrestling with her buddy. She has no idea. Ignorance is bliss. William Morgan, BlackRock bought another 9 million AMC not to lend out. There's already 5 to 6 million shares available to short. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious. That's no small amount. That's another 2% in the company. We got Florida checking in. Man, that's so great about doing these live streams is that, like, you guys are all over the world. And I feel like there's, like, just little tendrils that are connecting all of us together as we navigate the roller coaster of life. Yeah. Okay. Smirks, Houston, thoughts on what's going on with 5G rollout and how it will mess with the airplanes? I was reading up on this, and apparently, you know, the wavelength's pretty close to the navigation beacons that airports broadcast out so that planes can know their location in relation to the airport. And the problem arises from older planes that basically have a very broad bandwidth that they receive on. And so the fear is that these folks will, in the older planes, will be drawn towards people's cell phone calls or text messages or something. I think the solution is going to be either minimizing the amount of 5G available at airports, lowering the broadcast power, or, I don't know, fixing the planes so that they don't have such a broad reception bandwidth, that they perhaps, you know, just go for the specific wavelength that is the location beacons. That seems like a good solution to me. I don't know. So I'm sure they'll figure it out. Legacy 10 Productions, Houston, can you explain why Pluto was not a planet anymore? Will it get reinstated? Go Mariners, happy birthday. Okay, so to explain why Pluto isn't a planet, we have to explain how planets form and kind of what defines a planet. And when a planet forms, it's the result of this big giant cloud of gas in space collapsing down in on itself. And as it does so, it starts to spin. Because there's angular momentum, and as it contracts, it spins faster and faster and faster because that angular momentum has to be conserved. Just like watching an ice dancer, like when they go into a spin, they pull their arms in, they start going really fast. Or if you're in an office chair, any of you who happen to be in an office chair, you can spin yourself in your office chair, and then as you pull your arms in, you'll spin faster and faster and faster. You push your arms out, you can slow down. So as this gas cloud pulls in, it starts to rotate faster and faster and faster. As it does so, along the equator of the rotation, a disk starts to come out. So in the center is going to be the sun or the star, and out to the edges is this disk of dust, gas and dust. And inside that disk of gas and dust, you've got collisions happening, stuff sticking together, getting larger and larger and larger, and that's where the planets form. Bump, 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 bump. They form in this disk, and they rotate around the star in the direction that the disk was rotating to begin with. Now, to be a planet, you have to be round. Pluto's round, right? You have to clear out the orbit you are in. So Mercury cleared out everything in Mercury's orbit. Venus cleared out everything in Venus's orbit. Mars cleaned out everything in Mars' orbit. Earth cleaned out everything in Earth's orbit. Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, they all cleared out their entire orbits, and they dominate their orbits. Number 3, it has to be in the plane of the galaxy. It has to rotate in that plane of the equator of the star that they're going around. Now, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, those 8 all go in the plane of the solar system. They have more circular orbits. They don't have very extreme elliptical orbits than things that aren't planets. So they're a fairly circular orbit. It's not perfectly circular, but it's pretty close. And what's the next thing? And Pluto is off kilter from the planet solar system by about 20 degrees. So it does a giant elliptical orbit where sometimes it's closer to the sun than Neptune is, and sometimes it's further away. Also, its orbital pattern is dominated by the gravitational pull of Neptune. So Neptune basically tells Pluto what to do, and because Pluto is off kilter, not in the plane of the galaxy, a big elliptical orbit, and it's dominated by Neptune's gravity, it is therefore not a planet. It is a planetoid, or a dwarf planet, but they don't call it one of the planets. That's why it got demoted. But when they found it in 1939, it happened to be crossing that point where it was in the plane of the galaxy. But if they had looked for it 200 years later, it wouldn't be there. Okay, hope that worked. Arm2, what do you think about what YouTuber Doge Warrior says AMC will only reach 500? I think it all depends upon what the board of AMC does. If the board of AMC starts getting behind the stockholders and start being jerks to the short hedge funds, AMC can moonshot really high. If the board keeps selling off their shares, helping drive down the price, they keep issuing shares, making convertible bonds, doing things like that, then AMC is doomed. I mean, the squeeze play can't last if they keep just generating shares and giving them to the quote unquote bad guys. They'll just the board is our enemy at this point, as much as the hedge funds are, and I firmly believe that. I do not think they have our best interests in mind, and I think that they're thinking about their buddies and not us. Okay. Alan Komansky, even the nefarious Ortex is showing the shorts going up. I mean, they have to. That's the only way they can get these prices to keep dropping the way they are. Let me look on my other screen here and see how they're going. Still dropping out by a little bit. I mean, 107 for GameStop is a hell of a deal. Hell of a deal. Man. Like, goodness gracious. Robin Hood asks, what's up with the black bar on the right? That is the fact that I'm on my laptop, and my laptop camera does not do widescreen. Therefore, part of the screen isn't. I mean, I might be able to centralize it. Let's see here. Let's see if we can. I can make a black bar on the right and left. How does that work for you guys? And there you go. And more now, you got black bar on both sides. Happy now? I'm off to the side so you can see the wonders of the Swiss countryside behind me here. Pluto has to pay his membership fee. Meow meow. Did you know that Ronald Reagan once said that trees breathe air? I think to justify logging or deforestation was a good thing. Yeah, he said something about the trees sucking up all the air and producing carbon dioxide, which is the opposite. He also tried to make ketchup packets vegetables so that they could minimize the amount of food in school lunches and save money. So they're like, ketchup packet is a vegetable. Even though technically tomatoes are fruits. So technically ketchup would be a juice, I guess. Yeah. Homer's Ghost, thoughts on China housing crisis hitting Country Garden? That's just another one that's going under. I think we aren't likely to see a single one of these large developers survive this. All of them are going to be going bankrupt. All of them are going to be, defaulting on their loans. What semblance of them appears after this bond crisis that they're going through? I don't know. I mean, the Chinese government has a little ownership fingers in everything, so I'm not sure exactly how the bailouts are going to happen. So there we go. Okay, here we go. Scroll back to where we were. Sorry, I got to use my finger to do all the scrolling because the mouse. Sometimes the mouse just stops working and it's a complete jerk like that. I don't know. I mean, the Alta computer keeps telling me that it did a bunch of updates and wants to restart, and I'm not letting it. All right. Tony M, all I'm doing is averaging down. Yeah, exactly. If you got the cash on hand, average down, baby. If you get some good B-Big sales in the next week or so, use that to buy other stuff at a discount. Because B-Big's going right back up. I'm almost back to where I bought with B-Big. Hey, J-Board got your sticker. Fantastic. Excellent. I'm hoping that when I get back, I have a mailbox full of self-addressed stamped envelopes. I can get you folks stickers. But I've got 97 of them left, I think. So there'll be plenty to hand out. Remember the PO box in the description. Send me a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I will send you a sticker. Woohoo! Patty MJ Houston, just wondering if hedgies can cover in the after and pre-markets. Seems to be a lot of volatility then. I think that they do a lot of that to hide trades, and a lot of that might be forced buying that happens when the day closes, and certain brokerages look at FTDs and go, all right, we got to do some stuff. They can close during those times because what they need to do to close, they need to buy shares. Now, covering is a different animal than closing. Covering is sort of saying you can close if you need to by identifying these shares over here, or by hiding your position, thus hiding your liability, thus maintaining your margin liability within like that 1-to-30 ratio. So if you cover, you are identifying, oh yeah, there's some shares over there. So if I really need to, I can go buy those shares and close my position. But what we want to see is closing. Covering is stupid. We need to see closing happen. Canadian Arctic Circle. Goodness gracious. Tankman142 just got banned on the Wax website trying to claim my AMC NFT. I haven't bothered trying to claim that yet. Let's see what happens. John Donson, we can hear your fingers when you tap on the keyboard. I imagine it's attached to the microphone, so yeah. Okay. Nick Wright, Houston are both plays for AMC, GMC over. Have they found a way to win? No. They found a way to delay the inevitable. That's all they've been doing for the last year. What they're doing right now, because they know that there's a huge amount of options in puts in play, especially at the end of this week, that they are borrowing, doing whatever they can to hammer this price down. They're trying to hammer it down, because they know if they didn't actively short attack these stocks right now, that we would be seeing a skyrocket in the price. Because a whole bunch of options should be in the money. We should be super green with very high prices right now and have a lot of gamma going on. But they're fighting by doing what they do best, which is naked short attacking. They don't own the shares to short. They're naked shorting because we own the shares. We own all the shares. We have every last one of those stupid shares, and they don't. So they're short attacking, and then we're just buying up more and taking them. And that's, it's a kind of a war of attrition at this point. But eventually, someone's going to run out of money. Someone's going to run out of capital. Someone's going to get obliterated by Chinese bonds. Something's going to happen. Stonk Onator, how does a market crash help GME? Okay, so a market crash, these hedge funds, when they get clients, they take their $1 million, $1 billion, whatever it is for their membership to join this hedge fund. They take that money and they buy hard assets with it, or stronger assets. They buy blue chips, they buy government bonds, they buy things like that hold their value really well, and they keep those as assets under management. And what they do is they use that as collateral for loans known as margin. And they're allowed to borrow 30 times what the assets under management are. And when they borrow this stuff, this money, they make all sorts of crazy short-term plays with it and then collect profit off of those plays, and they can add that to their assets under management. Now, if the market collapses in value, drops 30% or so, then that 30-to-1 liability and margin becomes a 40-to-1 liability and margin. Especially if the price of the stocks they're shorting don't drop as well at that 30% or whatever. And if their margin liability is so much greater than their assets under management, then their prime brokers and investment banks are required to margin call them, saying, hey, you need more liquidity, you need more cash and more assets to bump up your assets under management in comparison to your margin. And they may have a day or two to do that. And if they don't manage to get that margin, then those prime brokers and investment banks, they're required to liquidate them until they meet those liquidity requirements. So they'll sell this stuff, these assets under management, to close these positions and to bring it some sort of balance. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we want. We want these assets under management to shrink, them to sell off even more, which causes the value to drop even more, and then they use that money to close their AMC, GME, whatever positions. And because they're out there forced buying, the price rockets to the moon. We make a bunch of money, and other hedge funds start collapsing because their margin starts to scream upwards as well. The air is dry here, let me tell you. Meow meow. Is it true Big can't drop news during Gamma because it's market manipulation and they can't back out of the spinoff, right? I mean, a company should be able to drop news whenever they want. That's their job. So, I mean, if there's Gamma going on, whose fault is that? That's the fault of the options market selling things naked. That's not Big's fault. I think Big should be able to announce whatever they want, whether it's Gamma or not. So, Big, announce away, my man. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure the short hedge funds will try to argue it's market manipulation, but then Big could argue in court that it's no different than Overstock offering their crypto dividend. The shorts were complaining that the crypto dividend was market manipulation, and the judge said, "Hey, you guys are attacking them. They're allowed to do whatever they want to keep you from attacking them, and to keep their stock price high." So, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to drop news today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, whenever. So I think they're fine. Got Seattle, got Madeira, California, got Germany. Hey, Volta Vins in Switzerland doing a Masters, right on. Got a couple of Swiss folk that pop in here every once in a while. Okay. Saladon 89. Saladon 89. Pluto is a planet. You cannot just say it's not a planet. I can say it. Pluto is not a planet. Never was. It was just a misnomer all this time. Oh, God dang, stupid chat. Always resetting. And I gotta use my stupid finger to... Come on. There's something about... where was it? Sorry. Scrolling the hard way with my finger, get my face close to the camera. I'll try to scroll back to the question I was about to read. Okay, there's the... Can you explain why Pluto isn't a planet? All right. Now we're getting somewhere. People talking about living in Canada. Okay. There's the housing market crash. Okay, now we're getting back to where we are. Getting back to where we were. Okay. Dawn says, I'm incapable of teaching my classes when GME and AMC are being decapitated. My students think I'm drunk. That's why you just gotta put it out of your head for now, and either pick up the discounts or just ignore it until someone's like, "Dude, did you see what the market's doing today?" And then watch it skyrocket again. And that's where we go. It is basement bargain prices there, Phil Scribb. Gabriel Griffin, Houston has a positive vibe and it shows. Hit the like button to help his channel. By all means, hit the like button, subscribe, send self-addressed envelopes and get stickers, or I don't know, weird food you can send in the mail, whatever. And welcome everybody to this is an early morning show, so a lot of you folks are not used to seeing me in the morning. And what's great is I get to see a bunch of people that normally can't hop into the live chat because I'm doing a show that's early morning, or for me, morning for the United States, North America. The Euros were like, oh, finally I'll stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch you do your show. Oh shit, I've not talked about Hunga Tunga Hunga. Yeah, do you guys see the satellite footage of the volcano in Tonga? Woo, Hunga Tonga Hunga. So, trying to explain how that's working. So, it's an underwater volcano. You know, there's a hot spot that's rising up through the Pacific, the crust of the Pacific, and it's generating an island. Now, generally, what happens is magma chamber rises up, water comes inside, the water makes like this really fine, thin layer of steam. It kind of insulates the magma, and then it slowly cools, and then more magma will come in. And every once in a while, it might have a little bop of steam explosion or whatever. But about once every 1,000 years, the magma intrudes really quickly. And as it does so, it does a massive inflation of the island's volcanic shape, and it kind of pushes above the island. And all this groundwater rushes in a way that quickly evaporates into steam and causes just a gigantic explosion. I'm still waiting to see the ash volume numbers. The first numbers I saw looked really undercounted. Mount Pinatubo did like 20,000 kilotons of ash. The most recent numbers I saw was like 112 kilotons, which just seems way too small for the size of that ash cloud. Ash clouds don't usually make giant, 400-mile across, size of hurricane type ash clouds. I mean, these things, they'll go up to 20,000 feet and rain down locally on their mountain that has a distance of a few miles. This thing is gigantic. It is just huge. It's about the size of Germany, was the size of the ash cloud that exploded from there, and just so gnarly. The thing is, if they look at ash levels that from previous eruptions, about every 1,000 years out of this island volcano, it shows that there was multiple eruptive events that were just as big as this. So there is a chance that over the next couple of years, we will see multiple gigantic explosions just like this happen. The most analogous eruption we have in written history is probably Krakatoa between Java and Sumatra. It erupted in 1883, I believe. And the sound went around, the explosion went around the world. The shock wave went around the world. The tsunami that happened from it was measured in England. Right, you have to go around Africa, up the Atlantic, to be able to have that kind of tsunami. It was only a few inches by the time I got to England, but it was measurable. People in North Dakota heard Krakatoa explode. You imagine 1883, you're in the middle of your farm field in North Dakota, I don't know, hoeing potatoes, whatever it is you do out there, and hear boom. You're like, what the hell was that? That is how big Krakatoa was. Now, the tsunami from that killed 35,000 people, and it was an eruptive event that took days and weeks to get to that huge explosion. And Krakatoa still erupts to this day, but the island was gone after that. just like the case is with this island. This island's probably just annihilated, and we're gonna have more underwater eruptions until cones build back out. But the people in Tonga probably need a lot of help. My guess is the tsunami was pretty gnarly there. Ashfall is terrible. I bet they don't have safe drinking water unless it's bottled, and they're going to need lots of help. So I think I was going to do a charity for animals next Tuesday, but I think next Tuesday I'm going to do a Tonga charity show. So if you guys tune in next Tuesday for Charity Tuesday, we will do we'll raise money for the folks in Tonga who are just, they're cut off from the world right now. Like they really got hammered hard with the tsunami, with the ashfall. I'm sure that the blast wave destroyed buildings. I'm sure that people's eardrums were ruptured. I mean, if you could hear the blast in Alaska, imagine being right next to it. It's probably devastating what they're experiencing right now, and my heart goes out to them. It's a gnarly thing to witness, and just, I mean, as awesome as from a geological perspective, there is a human cost to natural disasters like this, and this is one of the bigger eruptions that may ever occur during our lifetimes. And when we get the ash data, we can actually determine where on the list of giant volcanic eruptions it is. The biggest in recorded history is, now if Jake were to pop in here, is either, is it Toba in Indonesia? Erupted in 1816, and it produced 20 cubic kilometers of ash, which was enough to essentially make it a year without winter. So much ash went into the atmosphere that the temperatures in June and July in the northern hemisphere were like freezing, and it snowed. That's how much it blocked out the sun. Now, Pinatubo or Mount St. Helens, those eruptions produced about a cubic kilometer of ash. So Toba was 20 times that. And this, to me, looking at the satellite photos, this might be something around that line. So definitely in the southern hemisphere, you may get some cooling due to the amount of ash, but we won't know for sure until they can finally figure and calculate how much ash that was. But if it's 10 cubic kilometers, 20 cubic kilometers in ash, then that will diminish the sunlight for quite a while. And Australia and South Africa, they might have some cool months ahead of them as a result. All the ash finally settles. So look forward next Tuesday, Charity Tuesday. I'm gonna figure out what kind of charity I can hook up on this to help the people in Tonga, because they do have more coming their way. All right, Le Beau Luc, welcome, first time in the live, fantastic. Adam DiForino, D'Onofrio. What do you think about Webull for the MOAS? I am hesitant about any trading app. Webull uses payment for order flow. Anybody who's using payment for order flow primarily for purchasing stocks for their customers will be doomed during MOAS. They will. They can't. They do their purchases on margin, and their margin will dry up like that, and that's why the buy buttons got turned off for all those trading apps, because they didn't have the liquidity to handle all those purchases. Payment for order flow, the way it works is you put an order at $100 or whatever, and they look for that stock at $99.99, and then so they pause it for a moment, look for it for $99.99, buy it, keep the penny, give you your share. Now, if the stock is screaming and there's a FOMO situation, so the FOMO is happening, and you want that stock to keep going up, someone puts in an order for $100 and they wait for a moment to wait for it at $99.99. In that moment they wait, it goes up to $110. They just lost $10 on that trade. So rather than making a penny off every trade, they're losing $10 in every trade, and just eats up their liquidity, and then they get margin called and have to turn off the buy button. So unless Webull and Robinhood and others, unless they have managed to create a system that when the price of something is going absolutely bonkers, they can direct route purchases and trades rather than putting them through this payment for order flow system, then they have a chance. But they really have not instilled the confidence in people that they've done that yet. And that is kind of like, that'd be number one. I would want to know from Webull, Robinhood, those other trading apps, like, do you have the capability to turn that off? Like, can you just direct route the trades during those moments and then worry about payment for order flow later? That's what I would hope that they would do. We'll see. Aaron asks, how confident are you in AMC 2200 a share? It's been my number for many months now. Seems reasonable. What do you think? I think it's very possible if the board doesn't screw us. That's the big if. If the board starts fighting dirty, then you can see 2200 a share. I do not doubt it. Or higher, 10,000 a share, whatever. If the board keeps siding with the short hedge funds and screwing us over, then no, I don't think you can. I mean, if every time there's a rally, they crash the rally somehow, then we're not going to win if that's the case. So, now is the time for people to nominate. I think you have to have $2,000 in stock to be able to do a nomination for board. So we can use our power as retail owners to take over that company because we own it. We own 80% of the company. We can put in anybody we want on that board, and we can turn it into an inside ape corporation, and that's our power. So, if you got people, you think somebody would be cool to run that thing, you put them on the board, nominate them, get that name on the list. They've got to include it if you nominate somebody and you've got more than $2,000 in stock in the company. So that's the way it works. Suzanne Trimbath had a Twitter thread about that the other day. If you don't follow Suzanne Trimbath, please do. She's a doctor in economics, and she's been screaming about naked shorting for 30 years now. And people are finally starting to pay attention to her because, she's right. Okay, so past the boss. Hope you're having a good time in Switzerland. I am having such a great time in Switzerland, man. Yeah. Woo. Okay, come on. Oh, it's you stupid, scrolly piece of junk. All right. I was right. Switzerland. Okay, there we go. People in Switzerland talking about Pluto. Get the scrolly. John Donson. Oi, Houston. Could metamaterials have potential solution for the 5G issue at airports and planes? I'd be curious to know that. I know that they've got these crazy tunable antennas that can be printed onto like window panes, windscreens, cell phone cases. I wonder if they can make a much more exacting antenna that focuses on nothing but the specific broadcast range that those locator beacons go on. That's a good question. I'm sure if you're asking it, somebody else there is too. They do have some aviation related stuff they've done. Like they can put the laser blocking technology they have on the cockpit glass of a fighter jet so that you can't shoot them with a green laser and dazzle any of the pilots. They can do lots of cool stuff like that. And they can print, you can't see it's microscopic, but they can print the antenna for your phone onto the screen, or for your car, like your GPS antenna or your radio antenna. They just print it onto the screen, and you don't have to have any antenna sticking up on your car. It's on your windshield or your back glass or whatever. Okay. Okay. Tony M. Wouldn't loads of their puts go in the money to offset a market crash? Yes, but the problem is those puts, a lot of them are naked, right? A lot of them, they created those whoever was the market maker or the options house that generated those puts that are way down here, they sold those put contracts naked. They don't have the shares for them, and they're gonna have to go out in the market and find them, which is gonna cause a gamma, which is cause the price to shoot back up again, which means the other puts aren't going to go in the money. So it's going to be a wave of gamma going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But regardless, they got to buy our stuff. Eventually, they got to buy it. There you go. Okay. When do you think the squeeze will happen? I was hoping it was going to happen like next week. But Sequoia and Pinnacle investing $1.5 billion into Citadel, I think, was them getting enough capital on hand to